Hey everybody, power's been out. I think I've got it all fixed. If anything looks wonky, sounds wonky, does something wonky, it's because everything was out till late last night here at the office. Takes forever to get everything turned back on, focused, aligned. Usually just everything in my studio just kind of stays on. And I tell you what, just the the one the daily setups thing still running this morning, so I don't actually know how many daily setups we have yet. Maybe by the time I get to that portion, we can grab the list, and put it on there. Anyway, hey Don, hey Rob, Sergio, Hugh, Svenborn, Donald, Arturo, thank you all channel members. I do appreciate it. The channel member stuff that the channel members, like, that money comes through regardless of what happens with the publisher. So I do appreciate all of it. Comes right to my family. Anyway, um, Craig, Will, Gayton, Mad, Terry, David, Mark, Diane, Gary, Francois, Stephen, Kevin, John, Ted, Ringo, Mary, Laura, Jody, Ed. Good morning, everybody. Jobs reports out. If you, I guess one of my cats is on the porch, keeps ringing the ring. So if you hear that very light ringing sound, it's coming through my phone's reproducing that really well. So, well, it finally happened. Economic apocalypse potentially starting. The four horsemen settling up. The sky is falling. The BLS just dropped a jobs report so bad. I mean, it's pretty much utterly catastrophic. It's probably going to make us all a little richer, Bad news is good news. I know. You're probably thinking, wait, and this is a terrible jobs report. 22,000 jobs. Well, I have to say, welcome to the bizarre world of modern finance where bad news is good news. Rate cuts are great, right? The only thing that matters is what the Fed does next. So let's break down this disaster, shall we? So the U.S. economy added a whopping 22,000 jobs in August. And that's not a typo. That's 22,000. I've seen more people in line for a cronut, I think. Now, the unemployment rate also ticked up to 4.3%. It's kind of a veritable wasteland out there, everybody. A barren desert of economic despair. We're seeing more jobless people than we have job openings in the last couple of weeks. At least the July numbers for that. Or is it really that bad? You see, the mainstream media running around, probably going to be blasting out all sorts of negative stories this morning. CNBC, savvy investors like us, well, we know what this potentially means, right? It means the Federal Reserve, our benevolent overlord of interest rates, are all but now guaranteed to cut rates coming up on the 17th. In fact, the market's pricing in a 97% chance of a rate cut now after this morning's job reports. And there's even whispers of a potential 50 basis point cut. That's a half a percentage point cut. Let's look at the DGS too and see if that's even likely. I mean, it's kind of like Christmas coming early for the stock market until it's not. So how do we play it? How do we turn this economic tragedy into personal triumph, possibly some good trades? Well, let's talk about a few opportunities that are looking juicier than Thanksgiving turkey. Hopefully not dry like a Thanksgiving turkey. And hopefully your turkey's juicy. Anyway, the first obvious play, rate sensitive sectors. That's a tongue twister. Think about tech stocks. The Nasdaq already ripping more than the S&P this morning, salivating at the prospects of cheaper money. Lower rates means higher valuations for growth stocks. So your favorite tech darlings are about to get a nice little boost. And let's not forget about bonds. As rates go down, bond prices go up. It's the oldest story in the book, as long as it works. But it's a classic for a reason. All right, that's an opportunity. Now, that's the boring stuff. Let's talk about the real opportunity, the hidden gems. I'm talking about small caps out there and real estate investment trusts that can potentially benefit from this stuff. Small caps have been beaten down. They're not at all-time highs. With rate cuts on the horizon, these heavily indebted companies maybe get a new lease on life. One that analysts say that 3 rate cuts could greatly benefit small caps. So while everybody else is out there chasing the big names, you can be quietly scooping up sector leaders in the small cap arena. And then there's Real Estate Investment Trust, REITs. These guys have been in the doghouse for a little while. With lower financing costs, they're poised for a major comeback, some expansion. Some analysts even projecting 20 to 30% surges in the Real Estate Investment Trust arena as the rates are cut a little bit. So if you want to get in on the ground floor, what may be a next real estate boom, REITs are potentially where it's at. Now, before you go all in, a word of caution, this is still not so crazy market. We've got tariffs flying around like confetti at a parade. Lululemon, for example, just got monkey whacked because of tariff concerns. So don't get cocky. Do your own research. Although we kind of predicted Lulu was going down anyway, right? And for the love of all that's holy, do not put all your eggs into one trade. With all that said, this terrible, horrible, no good, very bad news of a jobs report, potentially a gift for going higher, golden opportunity. Maybe this is what we need to project us right up into the blow off top. We'll see. So while the rest of the world is panicking, you can be making a potential killing. Be careful out there. Know where your exit door is. Pay attention to the exit doors. And now, here's the bad news, right? Morning Monster. May it always be profitable for you. Welcome to the show. Let's dive in, see what we can do today. And let's check it out here. So pop over. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance, not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument, including stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. Don't trade them. If you trade, you might lose money. Unless you got a plan, unless you know what you're doing, unless you prove that you can execute consistently for profit. Otherwise, what the heck are you doing putting real money at risk? I'm serious. Like, if you have not proved that you can trade for a whole week with a minimum size of 1 and make money and do that multiple weeks in a row, why are you putting 1% of your account at risk? Why are you putting 10% of your account at risk? Why are you putting real money at risk if you can't prove that you can be profitable with a minimum size? Like, that's a real question. You need to ask yourself, all right? If you're having trouble, if you're struggling, you're not making money, size it down all the way. If you want somebody to tell you what to do, hire and consult a financial advisor. It's not what I do. Don't play one on YouTube. Be careful out there. It's your money. You can do whatever you want to with it. I highly, highly, highly recommend against losing it all to the market. Anyway, paltry 22,000 jobs right there. Just embarrassingly low. Unemployment rate ticking up higher. No bueno. Niche Keats, not good. Not good at all. Not good at all. So, big winter chicken dinner this morning. Look at this baby. I got put this back like in June back here on this drop. Been hanging out like a 78 cost. Or I got put at 78. My cost is actually down here in the 75 area. Now we're popping 82 this morning on earnings. Up here around 90 is the big resistance, 89. If we get through that, could see this thing up to 115. I like it. I'm going to try to roll out my contracts. I have the 82 sold for today. I'm going to attempt to roll those from 82 to 84 for credit. I don't know if it'll happen. May just sell my shares. Anyway, that's a big booster to the account. DLTR coming in. I actually rolled that option right there out a week. because DLTR was just kind of sitting there right at the strike. So we look at the 50K challenge coming in, a little bit of loss there, a little bit of gain there on Chewy calls. Not too shabby. See what happens. See what happens. So I guess that trade did go through yesterday. I was having a hard time placing when it went through. It looks like it went through. That's when I placed the order, but I think it executed yesterday morning. It rolled forward. I bought this back for a loss, 66 bucks. But I sold next week's for 75 cents more. So it was over right around $2, $1.90 something. $1.96 for next week for the 100 strike. Popping back over, looking at DLTR. Yeah, so sitting right on it. Right on support right there. Not too shabby. This is the 50K challenge. If you haven't been a part of it, we're down to only $1,000, but if that docu prints money today, then that's going to be a big chunk of profit locked in right there. Big chunk of profit. Chewy coming up next week. Got the 44s. See, I rolled up and out right here. I bought this one back. I had sold it for 30, bought it back for 9. Usually I wait to a penny, but I saw the opportunity to roll out that one for a big chunk of money too. I went up and out. So I went from the 42 strike up to a 44 strike for more credit for next week, which we have earnings next week. So juiced up a little bit. And 44 is up here above the resistance. Wouldn't be too bad to have to sell the shares there. Don't get emotionally attached to anything. Like, don't be like, I have to keep this. You get emotionally attached to them, and you'll make mistakes. So, I sold those up there. Yep. Here goes the market. Here we go. Wow. That's a lot of alerts. SVXY. Nice. Volatility plummeting. Holy Nikes, man. It's a lot of alerts. Lots of Apollo trades, a few Echo trades, and Lulu. Dun, 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 dun. Look how close we are to the target. Anybody surprised? Hey, David. We're going to get our chance. It's coming. If we can hold that 150 area. Game on. It could possibly drop on down to 120 area. So be careful. We don't have to hold the top of the target. It's just the initial target here. That's the ideal spot to bounce off of. That sets up like a really big upside. Really big upside. Let's see. Look at this. Look at this, baby. This is what we're talking about when I say really big upside. Oh, I like it. Wow. That's a lot of alerts. I really like that setup right there. Come to Papa. Just need a little more downside. This is where patience pays off, all right? Like, you get in here, if you had gotten in up here, you're like, oh man, I just want to get out. I want my money back. But if you're patient and you wait for support down here, and you get in and you ride this up for like 10x, then you're a freaking genius. Right? So you got to wait for them. You can't be impatient. You can't be like, oh, I don't have time to wait. You're doomed. You're doomed at this game if you don't have time to wait. Nobody wants to wait for the setups. This one right here, another potential nice setup. Cooking did push the limits here. Nice move up, nice retrace on the smaller time frame here. Potentially setting this baby up. And watch for a little bit more push right there. I don't usually watch penny stocks, but this is just one that potentially I saw. It's one that's cheap, but if this fails, guess what? 0 is a real possibility. So be careful. All right. S&P. Holy bananas. This is crazy land. I was cautious yesterday, but we turned around and ripped, and there we're hitting the target this morning. So still be careful. Like that may have been, didn't get much opportunity between breaking through and finishing up right here this morning. Now we could, entirely possible, going up and hit the 65, 65, or 65 is 65, 60 target right up here that we've been talking about on S&P on the cash index. We could just shoot on up there. Entirely possible. We're at all-time highs right now. Not far away. That may kick off a bigger correction. We've got CPI and PPI coming up next week. Retail sales on the Tuesday right in front of the rate cut decision. Looking at DGS2. Interest rates have pushed down a little bit. So it's one of those interesting things. Like, is this dropping out because the rate cuts are coming, or is it dropping out because the market actually thinks that rates should go down? So they've kind of opened up room, I guess you might say, for this to be able to cut not just a quarter point, but potentially a full half point. I don't know if they'll do it. It's gets it really close, and then a little spike can screw them really quickly. May do a quarter point and a quarter point the next two meetings. The meetings are about 6 weeks apart. So we got the one coming up on the 17th. Right here. 2 p.m. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Should be the next. It's right there. The 29th of October. The next one. So I may do one here coming up in, 2 weeks? And then do this maybe coming up at the end of October. I don't know. If jobs deteriorates, 22,000, that's pretty pitiful. But inflation is still ramping, so They don't have the inflation under control. So which one's more important? Jobs, full employment, or keeping inflation under control? Inflation ramping up. Other central banks around the world proving that cutting rates is not reducing mortgages. So be careful out there. Yeah, good job on Celsius. I think it's probably going to break on out. I sold out my shares and was waiting for a pullback, and that pullback hasn't come. So beautiful potential upside. The target's still up here, almost a triple, almost 4x from higher from here. If you got all the way to the top of the range up here, pretty wild. So wild potential. I'm in chasing down stuff like Chewy. Nice little pop there. How are you on Docu? Docu taking it back. Look at that. Brutal. Somebody got caught. NQ still has not made a higher high. So be careful here. Look at this. We're in the danger zone for this. If this turns down here, A, B, C, and little baby A, little baby B, little baby C, and then that'd be the B, C. As long as we're lower, this stays intact. And be careful on that one for sure. Russell coming back with a vengeance, but when we look at the bigger picture, still way off of the all-time high. Now, we breaking above this consolidation from January did set the stage for this to rock and roll on up here, 2600. The way you could play that, IWM, and there's other ones you could play. Oil, yeah, baby, go. Go, baby, go. Break down below that low. Oh, so beautiful. Look at this. That big drop. This three-wave retrace. Back to resistance. Another drop. This three-wave retrace. Back to resistance. Oh, yeah. Come on. Now, the unfortunate thing here, if this drops on out down in the low 50s, a new hot Middle East war may break out, similar to what happened back here. Maybe like, well, that's kind of cart before the horse. And think about it. We dipped in here. They kicked off that, Iran started attacking Israel, shooting missiles everywhere. We did this, and then ceasefire. Now we're coming back down. If we drop out again, those crazies don't think rational, all right? Not everybody thinks the way we do in the United States. How do we get oil prices higher? Shoot some missiles. Oil prices start drifting back down. What do we do? Shoot some more missiles. GC. Still scratching at that high there. It went exponential. Be careful. Downside correction. Very possible. This is kind of really stretched that, but still hitting that potential with that being an A, this being a B, and we still have the potential for C. That although the C may not go lower low, it may just come right back down in this vicinity right here, slightly higher low than this A. Now that we've stretched that B so high. Absolutely beautiful correction style. Bitcoin coming back up. I like it. Came down for the 2, very darn close. Yesterday, it's looking pretty dismal. Today, breaking out 3, 4, 5. That's the path we're looking for right now. Then we'll probably do a correction back down in the same vicinity, right back down around 113, 115, and then set up the finality move. Finality. Now, the unfortunate part here, anything higher than this right here could be the end. So be careful. Like, we could wrap this up any point. We don't have to go higher. This is kind of the path I'm looking for, is that we do this, a 3-wave retrace, and then go up for that ideal target up around 150 to 170. But it can wrap up early. Dang, man, I got stuff popping off like crazy. Making trades. And Ethereum holding support really well. 4,200. As long as we hold 4,200, still have the bullish potential to break through the resistance right there. NKD popping back up. If we can get through the 618, we tip the odds we're going to make this move at least 44,000. And if we break through above that, it could be kicking us off for the bigger upside move to this 48, 49, 50,000 area. Right up here, maybe even crazy numbers, 53, 54, 55. That could be a finality move too, so watch out. That may be the blow off top that we get in the market, push us up near 7,000. DXY. Dollar's becoming trash. Looking for this to finish popping down here and possibly down here. Talked about this ad nauseum for the last few weeks. ABC. It's just this move right here is just taking forever. This chop. Eventually, we're going to flush it down. Do we stop here? Do we stop here? If we get to here, there's potential that we bounce and keep going lower. Downtrend, baby. Downtrend, 3-wave retrace, ABC, and then AB. If we get down here, that tips it more into a 1, 2, weird 3, 4, 5. Apple. Yes, the news today isn't super bullish for Apple. Be careful. Amazon, not super bullish there either. Hitting that resistance on that gap down. Once again, tested it over here. Pulled back, tested over here. Can we get through, or we got to pull back again? Be careful. We're in a danger zone. Google still cruising out. Cruise missile probably going on up to 263. Next upside target. Meta. Oh, we held the back test so far. That was good. If we can push back above that high, that prior high, coming on up to this target around 839, 840. Dun, 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 dun. So Microsoft has support right here and right here. This was the breakout level. This was just a prior fib zone. If this was enough back test, could actually come up and hit that. We came up shy of it. You know, we got really darn close, but we didn't actually touch it. 865 is the target. We didn't quite get there. If you were conservative and had a target just below it, like I highly, highly recommend most of the time, could have gotten the pledge out. Nvidia still reach. I thought everything was better news, right? Big tech blasting off. Nvidia being weak might come back down and test the breakouts. Be careful. Chasing the big dog. Tesla, big winner chicken dinner. Look at that, man. They showed off a new Optimus yesterday with humanoid hands. Ramping up. Elon saying that somebody, it's funny. If you watch social media, it's so funny. People are like, oh, Cybercab sucks. There's people in the driver's seat, blah, blah, blah. Waymo started out that way. You have to do that for regulations. Anyway, yesterday, or I don't know if it's yesterday or over the weekend or earlier the week, whatever, Elon saying that he expected that they start removing those safety driver, safety people in the front of the car by the end of the year. That's not long from now, everybody. So this thing is still cruising in this channel. We break out of the channel, could come up to this level up in here around 450. Likely to get some better numbers because everybody's pushing their sales forward, but they don't actually have to do the deliveries. The IRS made the ruling. You only have to sign the contract and put money down. You don't actually have to take delivery before September 30th to be able to claim the rebate. So that does push some of the potential past October for those car sales. That's starting to look like an ABC right into the resistance. Now running the fib line on that, we could see a little bit higher. Could push up nearer the 786 up here. Still have resistance, so that's 1290-ish. And still make this final move down here. Still looking very corrective. That looks like an A. 3 waves up, B, and C. Still potential down here. Let's pull this over. Since it's likely to take longer now. Save it. So Netflix still potentially in a corrective form there. AVGO popping that extension target 363. GWRE. Dang. That hit the target. That gave you no entry. It just went from the roadmap line to the target. Right there. Then rejecting back down. ASML. Like I said, this is set up for 1,000. Push on out. CLS. Hitting the extension. Yeah, everything hitting extensions. Be careful. It's like a red warning sign. This coming up to the breakout level. Can we do it? Or we're going to get rejected back down. Potential 5 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Might see a retrace back to test the roadmap line area. Or we can actually break out on that one. AVX, there's 2x leverage on AVAGO. Service Titan, kind of grinding down. Yeah, leverage stuff. MSTR, not looking super great. Seeing some reports that this thing may double. Spike down right there. Could be that's right in the target, right? Slightly lower low. Kind of completes the 5 down. On this last little move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful. Is it done? I don't know. Can it turn around? Now, the thing I constantly remind people asking me how bullish, how high I think MSTR can go. Here was the high last cycle. That was where Bitcoin actually topped out. Newsflash, that's a lower high. If we copy that move again, even if Bitcoin does some sort of blow off move, we've got this high, we've got this lower high. Could stall out. Be prepared. Cut your expectations. They own almost 50% more Bitcoin than they did when they were right back here. Yet there's the performance. And Bitcoin is up you compare where we were in November to where we are here in September. In November, we were down here on Bitcoin. Now we're up here. This is like completely opposite the way MSTR's chart looks. Be careful. Careful out there, everybody. Hey, everybody. Leverage, 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 leverage. Golly, the leverage ticker is getting crazy on here. I really wanted to see this one spike down into the roadmap line. I still kind of potentially holding out for that one little spike down, hit that roadmap line, then we set up the bullish rally. Docu coming back up a little bit, filling the gap. We do have this big gap down resistance. We're coming right up into it. That's why we're rejecting here. Oracle. I have not seen official announcements about the layoffs, but I keep seeing a lot of social media about they've laid off almost 4,000 people, something like that. Over 3 at least. AVAV coming back to the roadmap line. FUTU out to the target 191. SMH. Oh, target's still up at 305. RH. If we can get that bounce, potential to come on up to the 400 area. ALB. Still not proving any kind of breakout. We're struggling. Been struggling to get through right here. Oklo making big news on the local TV last night. Going to build almost a $2 billion nuclear waste recycling facility here in Oak Ridge. Senator Blackburn was on there. It sounded like she was drunk. 199. This one possibly 294 up here. Builder's first source coming back up. Watch for the resistance. The 618, 162, LEU. First move down, retrace. Watch for the next move down. Might see this one come back down here before we bounce. Baba, I'm pushing the limit here. Still kind of bearish on that one. TSM. It'd be nice to see that retrace to the roadmap line, but we may push on out first. 260. We did hold the breakout level here. Back tested it right there. Holding that sets us up to rally up here. 260. That's why I like these big moves. I look for these big retraces and the close by the 618 and then bet on that move. Because this is all like, does it break down? Does it break out? Smaller potato stuff. It's rough. First solar. Let's get those tax credits. And then we'll probably go bearish and go back down lower. AEM blasting out. Gold still ripping. Lit. I bought, my mom wanted to buy gold. And she told me in October of last year, right here, we were right here. She's like, I want to buy gold. I was like, we're not buying gold right now. It's going to pull back. And this thing pulled back. And I bought right in here, I bought some 60 strike calls for January 26. Over here, Jan 26. I paid like $1 or maybe less than $1 for them. I just closed those out like, I think it was Friday. Closed them out for 25K profit. Bought like 20 of them. It's pretty sweet. So I'm off of that one. This is in a dangerous spot here. A, B, C. That can still drop. That was way more. She was ready to go to one of the TV places and buy gold. It's like, don't do that. Just let me make you money. I guarantee I made more money for her with less risk than if she had. She'd probably been up like $200 if she went and bought gold through one of those brokers on TV. Reddit potential to spike that target 269. MU. Yeah, watch it. Like, go read it on Investopedia. Basically, that means you sold something, it dropped, and you bought it back. You sold it, and then you bought it back, and it was within the wash sale rule. It's like 45 days or something like that. What it is why they have it is so you can't tax harvest a loss and then get back in at a lower cost basis. So they consider you didn't even sell. That's what the wash sale thing is right there. You can't. Yeah, it does away with some of the gains or whatever. Some of the does away with some of the losses. It's mostly in taxable accounts is where that matters. It like disallows some of the loss that you booked. LEN, Lennar coming up to the 618 to 150. Investopedia is the best place I know to kind of read that. And then another place that might be good, Green Trader Tax. I don't use them, but I do read a lot of their articles they put out. It's very beneficial for people in taxable accounts that trade. What the heck? What's up? Not endorsing that you use this. I'm just this guy right here, Green Trader Tax. They have a lot of articles on here that are like the SALT workaround, digital tax, how to treat stuff, digital assets, crypto, trader tax status, all sorts of stuff in here. Tax strategies for active traders. If you've never been here before, Green Trader Tax, it's literally greentradertax.com. And they're a tax accountant somewhere. I don't even know. Probably out near you, David. I don't even know where the heck they are. They put all sorts of publications on this stuff. So that's one resource, and then Investopedia. Yeah, wash sale, definition, how it works, purpose. Read that stuff right there. There you go. That's what I do. And the Green Trader thing, just Google, or not Google, but in their little search bar thing they've got on there, just search for, it's down there at the bottom, search for wash sale stuff, and they'll tell you all about that, how it plays in with taxes. And if you're in a IRA, it doesn't even matter. Like, doesn't matter. So only matters if you're in a taxable account. Toll Brothers, potential to come up to, and we're through the 618, so that one might spike up here. 185. PDD. Still under that resistance. Temu, de minimis package exemption. Last Friday, started doing away with that, so you're going to have to higher prices. Is that less demand from the US? ANET 150. Carmen Holdings. Not enough candles to do anything with that. SE, we're at targets. Watch out for a pullback. GBTC, HOOG, lots of leverage stuff on here. PHM pushing through that prior high. This sets up the potential. Push on up here. 157. DQ. Coming up into the danger zone. If we get through it, we might see 36. VRT. Back to the roadmap line. WDC. Popping out. This bigger upside potential up here around 110. Yeah, Lulu getting whacked. AGX. Yeah, David, now that you're here. Lulu getting down near the target. Getting close. It's close enough. Or we do like UNH and kind of fart around here and then spike it. And then Warren Buffett buys, you know. Can we do it before he retires? Warren Buffett buys, you know, half a Lulu or whatever. ENX. This is a beautiful potential right here. If we can break back through, get through the 618, this may kick off a bigger upside right there. AMD, still hunting that retrace. Like I said, we're still hunting this retrace. Roadmap line at least. More ideally down here around 110, 115. PHR. Yeah, it's just chopping. All right, let's see if the setups are done cooking. And go to my daily chart setups channel. Looks like we finished with 9 tickers on the list. So that's my signature breakout pattern right here. Got a high, we got a low at the roadmap line, move up, close above. Looking for 2482 on the target. Statistics, not great on that one. BBWI, Bath and Body Works. Let's actually clear the drawings. This is a downtrend. No mincing words about it. You know, that last one worked out right there. Didn't enter. Here's one right here. Just looking for that 35. We're not going crazy higher. C-band. Here's the high. Come on now. Here's the high. Here's the low. There's the entry. Potential 1836. CRC. Need to get the New York Stock Exchange version. And it's just kind of wiggling right there, but that would be the entry and 53.95 target. DSGX. Wow, that's a sloppy. And grab this one right here, I'm pretty sure. And 110.50 targets. Pretty dang smoking hot on that one, but not much upside left. Just a couple bucks. Be careful. K-Alv. Here's the entry, 17 target. Max. That one already played out. NTGR. Come on now. Here's the high, here's the low, there's the entry. Looking for 33.12 on the target for Netgear. And here's the high, here's the low. There's the entry, 21.29. Potential right there. None of those look super awesome to me. I mean, the one did, but you know, $2 upside. Just not very much right there. And that one looks reasonable, even though it's only 4 trades away from being a population, but 93, like 4 negative trades, isn't likely to bust that, and profit factor of 4. That's pretty smoking, but not much reward for the risk that you potentially take on with that one. So I sit and wait. Now, bias for the day. We're dangerously close to 50, 65, 65, 65, 62. That we're dangerously close. We spiked that. Can kick off a bigger downside correction. Be careful out there. I'll be on Market Masters at 11:30. If you want to come hang out, prosperitypub.com/marketmasters. And we'll see you on Monday for another edition of the Morning Monster. Stay safe out there. The account you're saving.